Hi, I'm Chris Burrell, and this is my article analysis of The Failure of Failure by Ben Levin. Levin is concerned about student success instead of arbitrary lines of failure in his article. He explains how many Canadian students have experienced failure, and he asks the question, what do we do about the students who aren't making the grade? Levin, along with a large quantity of evidence, supports the fact that holding students back, such as failure or grade retention, does not generate greater effort or later success. In fact, studies show that if a student is retained in elementary school, they are much more likely to become a high school dropout. Also, in high school, the failure of even a single course is closely associated with dramatically increased risk of dropout. Even the simplest experience with failure contributes to a sense of learned hopelessness and can result in students giving up on education. On the other hand, success generates more effort. Failure reduces effort and forces people to shift their focus to a place where they can be successful. Therefore, we must manufacture success for our students. We should be trying to minimize failure in the classroom instead of using it as an identifier. Levin supports the idea of credit recovery in his article, which is also an integral facet of the growing success document. Things like summer school have all the same principles as the credit in contemporary school year, but is constrained to a stricter timeline within the summer, allowing students to feel success and run from failure. Credits can be made up for instead of students experiencing flat-out failure and having to repeat an entire course a year where further development could be made. Levin also agrees with the assessment strategy that supports the practice of developing students' self-assessment skills to enable them to assess their own learning, set specific goals, and plan next steps for their learning. Doing this supports student success and avoids the disruption of confidence. Students will focus on what they are great at while also progressing through that in which they struggle. Levin's suggestions in dealing with failure and ultimately students' dropout focuses on early action in primary grades, good transition processes from one school to another, recognizing and affirming the identity of struggling students, building on the skills and knowledge that students already have, and creating schools in which every student has an attachment to at least one adult. Changes like these are relevant in the growing success policy, with things like assessment accommodations, modifications, and ongoing assessment and program adjustments. I can reflect on this article through personal experiences through my placement and being a student myself. In one of my placements, I had a student named Cody, who was a very clever kid but never came to class. I told Cody one day that if he kept up his bad attendance, he would probably fail. After our talk, I had a little chat with him. He ended up coming to class every day because he realized what was at stake, and he did not want to go to summer school. I was very satisfied, and I felt pretty happy with myself that Cody kept coming to school after we had our talk. So that kind of relates to our article because instead of letting Cody fail because of his attendance, I went out of my way and explained to him what would happen and generated success for him. Also in this placement, our grade 10 class did very poorly on an essay, and my teacher let them rewrite them. So instead of giving them failing marks, she realized that they were trying, realized that they missed the point, and gave them a second chance of doing their rewrite, which they all improved drastically on. Also, as a student myself, I remember scraping by in grade 9 French, as well as the whole class did too. French wasn't my forte, no pun intended, but the teacher realized that instead of just giving us failing marks, which I'm sure a few of us deserved, that he would give us marks good enough to get into grade 10 so that we didn't experience failure, but we're put in a successful position to move forward and focus on other things that we were actually good at and actually really wanted to succeed for. And also because we're all terrified of summer school, and he knew that. This article has an impact on my teaching. I will have an understanding and use professional judgment when giving kids a second chance or failing them. I realize I should not bend over backwards for every single kid, and that sometimes some students need to fail in order to move forward. I'll make expectations clear at the beginning of the year and explain what constitutes a fail, such as cheating or just not showing up to class, so there's no confusion when it comes, and that students aren't concerned that enough success wasn't manufactured and that they did deserve to fail themselves. In conclusion, students should learn from their mistakes, but should not have to be punished so severely for it. Retention is not always the solution. Victory is sweetest when you've known defeat, but being told you're a failure can be devastating. Thank you.